Welcome back, and we're doing comic reviews, and we're going to be doing all of them from here on in, looking at the comics, the 100-page giants. If you're like me, I was a very big fan of all these 100-page giants when I was coming up reading them. They always had new material and a whole bunch of reprints so you could catch up on stories that you couldn't afford or couldn't find. And they were always not necessarily poignant stories, but key stories that they definitely would want you to read so you could be included in things that were going on. A lot of times the backup features, or rather the reprinted material, helped you to understand whatever that new story was. That's not the case with these Walmart books that are coming out right now, but hey, it is what it is. So, most recently, we had Superman #7, the Walmart 100-page giant, and there was a lot of controversy over this, and, well, I'll get into that in a second, but I do believe the controversy wasn't necessarily what it should have been, and a lot of people who jumped on the book didn't necessarily have the opportunity to read it, maybe just see a page here or two, but they didn't have an opportunity to read it. The other day I was looking at Peter Rabbit, you know the film, Peter Rabbit? In Peter Rabbit, his father is killed in front of his eyes, and then he sees his father baked as a pie that's going to be eaten. Now, this is a children's film, and nobody seems to have a problem with that. We also see a man have a heart attack and fall dead, and again, nobody has a problem with that because, again, we're supposed to believe this is a child's film. We're not taking things too seriously, and the kids don't take it too seriously. I think we have to remember that coming into Superman #7, the Walmart giant, because a lot of what happens in terms of what we see to Lois Lane is happening in Superman's mind. It's him torturing himself as to what may be happening to his wife. See, the story opens with Superman the story opens with Lois Lane being shot, right in her head, and bang, she's dead. You see it right there. She's dead. End of story. And then we see Superman, and he's trying to get through. He's at some intergalactic payphone, if you will, the space hub where he's trying to call home so he can reach her. He calls, but he's not able to get through, and so his mind starts racing as to why she didn't pick up the phone. He hopes he's okay, and he just starts imagining these horrible scenes of what possibly could be happening to her. Now, this was picked up by people, and they said, no, this is terrible. Kids shouldn't be reading this. This is horrible at the end of the day. And, I got to scratch my head. It's like, did kids read Superman 75, where Superman was literally beaten to death by Doomsday? And he beat this other guy to death, too? I've read comics where Superman was tortured for 200 years. And so we have to be honest about this. It's not so much the actions as opposed to the recipient of these actions and the recipient of these actions. Lois Lane is killed several times in this story. Okay, maybe at least a dozen times in the story, but this is all in Superman's mind. Okay, this is him imagining these horrible things happening to his wife because he's so concerned about her. Now that has been thrown out the window to saying, no, kids shouldn't be reading this. And again, I bring you back to Peter Rabbit. Hey, Peter Rabbit's father was killed right in front of him. I guess it's okay because it was a rabbit. Even though it was an anthropomorphic rabbit, I guess it was okay. So that type of hypocrisy does rub me the wrong way. If kids understand what the story is about, then you shouldn't have too much of a problem with it. I think the most graphic image is Lois Lane being shot in the head, okay? But again, you got this guy eating the rabbit as in a pie, or having a heart attack. It's a hard one to, as a parent, you're going to make whatever decisions you think are right for the kids. But I don't think this is a story that, I can't sit down and read this with them. I think more people have a problem with it because Lois Lane was the recipient of the killings over and over again. And we live in a society and in a culture where we don't want to see violence perpetrated towards women. So that's pretty much what it is. If this had been Superman imagining, I honestly believe if this was Superman imagining Jimmy Olsen being killed in this manner, it would not have happened and people would have found something different. And people have to be honest about this. We don't like seeing women being hurt, being beaten, being killed, especially not with any frequency like you would see in that particular story. That is the major problem with them. Other than that, it's a solid story. Okay, it's a very solid story. There's even one instance where Lois Lane dies, but she's on a plane with Jimmy Olsen. And so we see that she's still taking prominence over everybody else who, may be being injured or killed in that nature in terms of the reading. But the overall story is pretty good. Tom King has been turning in some really nice stories with the Walmart issues, which I'm going to be picking up from here on in. It started with issue number 3, so we're not going to go back. We will go forward, and it's difficult because as much as I would love to give proper images, this is not a this story hasn't been digitized at all. So we will be doing our best to make certain that you have some things out there that are clear so you can clue in. But it's definitely a story worth reading. And because it's at Walmart, if you don't have a Walmart, or if your Walmart is just crap like mine is, it'll be very difficult for you to find. I literally have to drive 2 states over in order to pick this book up. You know, I do one of my comic runs, and I'm able to pick it up in a neighboring state because the Walmart that I can get to, they have no idea what I'm talking about. Just terrible at the end of the day. But, you know, at the end of the day, really good story. I'll see you later.